Hi guys, this is Allison from AllyKat Creations. How are you? Please like, share, subscribe if you have yet to do so. Hype if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work at Connect, Done, Epiphany, and Mind Explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are in the description after the live. After the live is uploaded, it will show amongst the chat. AllyKat Creations211.com, which I do have to get updated at some point. Skulls, pyramids, paint and sip paintings, all the like, candles. If you're interested in purchasing anything, please email me. That's the only way you're going to get in contact with me. Also, I have channel memberships, beautiful ways of contributing to the channel, helping me keeping afloat, and helping just everything. You guys get special emojis that you could use when I'm live, or just leave me a comment and you get to use Freya. You get raffles when I'm doing them. You get free entries. You get hour-plus long Oracle cards 4 times a month. That's right, every weekend. And 40 gets to work with me. And I was going to do some work last night and just too much going on. We'll go into it. But hi everybody. Hi Scott. Hi Charlene. Hi Ash, Maya, and all the people in the background that are watching. Please don't forget to like. I get so many views and not enough likes, unless you're trolling me. It's great. Hi, trolls. But troll dolls were awesome, so coffee. Raise your hand if you did not get sleep last night. I did not get any sleep last night. Nope. I try going to sleep to Brian Scott's newest 8-hour sleep video, affirmations. It's like a lot of his famous ones comprised down to a few, and I was falling asleep to it. And I guess Freya must have, like, Freya right now, if I'm not laying straight, she usually likes to inhabit the chest and put her paws over here, and it's stupid cute. But sometimes she likes to snuggle and then play with my phone. So I don't know what happened. At some point, I woke up and it was just really hard to get back to sleep. On and off, on and off, on and off, on and off, all until I had to get up, like, physically out of bed to get myself ready for work. So I had a very crazy day at work. Um, Not fun. Mind you, we're getting there. We're almost halfway done. And I gotta find a new career. If I could have slept in, I would have. And it's not like I wasn't ready to get up and go. Because normally if I do not get much sleep, I can still function. It's just I get really drained by the end of the day. But we all know what's been going on with me the last few days, the last 2 weeks. Many of you do. But I'm not going to harp on it. I don't really want to bring it up anymore because it's dead, done, and over, at least in my perspective. And I do want to thank some people if you come back and listen to this later, or just to recognize I am very thankful for all of you in the chat, and then all of the people that were on my Facebook defending me. There were some people that were trying to rip me up a new asshole for defending myself and showing evidence, which is now playing some kind of role between the people I was supposed to have on yesterday. No, tomorrow. Sorry, brain's not here. And I don't know where that is because I for the most part, me and Arnie are probably going to go live. I don't know about Jesse. If you go and explore that, you'll find out why. But I will say that someone tried really hard because they felt a certain way adamantly about me to try to rip me a new one, and it didn't work. Whether you want to read into what he said in the essay that he wrote and the obsessive every post and trying to defame me, that's great. You're going to do what you're going to do, and that just reflects on you. I'm not allowing that to bother me. But what does is when people go and don't know context, once again, how could you put such abusive things? Do you not know what just happened to me? Is that not abuse? And I'm just supposed to say, hey, Allison's a bad person. Don't look at her. Don't be friends with her. A little disturbed. And if that triggered something that you needed to go back and heal, or you can't face that trauma, I don't want to hurt anybody. I gotta keep myself safe. I don't have family here. I don't have many people here that if something were to happen to me, would come to my defense or come to see if my dead body's laying on the floor. And that's a real thing. I'm not worried about that, but if it were to come to that point and it looked like it was coming to that point, that's why I posted what I did. Not to shame him, not to get upset, just to say, hey, I'm just letting you know this is what I've been dealing with. Not to exploit anybody. And I think that when people are taking, oh, you're so childish, Allison. Sure am. You know what? I'll own that. I am childish and I'm glad for it because you know what? I'm keeping myself safe. Yeah, Charlene, I'm just disappointed in who was the people that did put that on my page. I have social media for a reason, obviously to pass this along and to spread some healing, beautiful blissness. Normally that's all my page is. It's Freya and spiritual stuff and quantum physics stuff. That's about it. That is and maybe a memory here and there from my Facebook feed. I don't entertain Facebook as much as people think I do. But when somebody's going and writing an essay under 130 plus posts and then tagging people in them and say, do you know that this girl is a blah 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 blah. What? Please elaborate. Whether he is scorned and upset with me, and even if that shit was true, and not all of it's in context. Believe me, it's not. Why would you put that there and then want me to pick up the phone? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just get it. I'm on there because I do, and guess what? Talking about family. Guess what? My sister. My sister commented on one of the posts. What? I have two sisters, by the way, and I have a brother. I don't entertain them. Not because I don't like them, love them, or I don't know them. I honestly only met my brother once and my younger sister twice. No, once, sorry. I met the two younger ones, my brother and my sister, once. And then the sister that commented on my page, I never met her. We don't know each other. We're just from the same dad. Like, didn't that just hello was bringing family together? But my sister Crystal commented, "Hi, Crystal." Like, oh my God. Yeah, I don't like I think Twitter and True Social and Telegram and a lot of the other things that are out there I have more bots and people that have to follow you to get your information. They, you got to follow each other. Where Facebook, like I get random stuff and I get a lot of quantum physics, and that's where I get a lot of my information, and then I do my research on it. So I kind of like Facebook for certain things and other things I don't. But I would never imagine somebody at that level of pain going and tirading and having a baby tantrum on my page. No, and everybody that was tagged for the most part, like I did try to openly apologize to everybody. Obviously, I'm not here to make anybody else like read into Allison's bullshit crap, but my goodness. And I do, I forgive him. He is in a place of hurt and he needs a healing. I only entertained like Valentine's Day because I thought for the time that we were not together that he was healed, that he did some work on himself, that he seemed like everything was like moved on and he's going to move forward. I entertained it. But obviously he's still stuck looping and looping and looping into things, and again, they're not what they seem. And it's not what was projected. So no, I'm not giving any more energy. I just wanted to put it out there because if something were to happen to me, people know. Right. And that's really what it comes down to, because it's not like I live with I have someone living down the block from me that can come check up on me, or I mean I kind of do and don't at the same time. Not responsible. It almost got lit. It almost got lit. There we go. Almost. But we're gonna go in after I light these candles if I can get them going. Oh, I tried getting magic to happen and magic wouldn't occur. There we go. We had a timeline shift. Hi, Leah. And El Sunray was one of the ones that defended me on my Facebook. So thank you, El Sunray. Thank you. And everybody in the chat, for real. Thank you for having my back. And because what went on the last day really set my energy into where is people getting this from? The cockatoos. They're gonna make funny of this. Yeah, and here's the thing, Charlene, like I forgive people and I know people are not where I'm at in frequency or in knowing or in whatever the case. If someone's horribly hurt, do you think I don't feel great that they're hurting? But when they collude with a story and they get stuck on something that's not true and it's not the perception that I even put out, and then they make a whole story that they're believing that is not true based off of breaching my privacy and not knowing the real context behind what was going on, you're slandering me. And I didn't consent for anybody to have photos. And I entertained it because I once again, people do heal and people do move on and people have really good hearts. So I was just letting it be. I wanted to move fresh Because I think he's capable of doing that. No, I was wrong. I honestly thought that he healed enough to move on and to put the past where it lied because of my contract with him. He doesn't see and understand what a contract is. I can't. Mm. But, why couldn't you all sleep last night? Why couldn't I sleep last night? Hi, that's a timeline shift and some funky energy up here. It's a timeline shift with funky, funky energy up there. I can jingle any day now. The frequencies are at 8.06. 8.06. And that's high as a kite. High as a kite. Hard to see, and it's terrible. I don't know how to fix that. But I did see somebody earlier post that there was blackouts in the E field. And I don't see what I see, like here there could have been, but I don't see what they're posting, like doesn't what they're doing is taking contrast, or they're putting this into a filter and they're just like lowering the light to get more of the understanding of what's going on here, and which is fine. It's not devaluing the chart, it's helping you see it more. But I don't know about what they were trying to convey, because and this is kind of where they were grasping that top right here. Those little like outs, and those are not really blackouts. They're shifts for sure. But we had a shift, and I'm happy about that. Um, very happy for the shift. Happy Mercury retrograde. Happy Mercury retrograde in a water sign, even worse. There's a lot to go over today. Not enough coffee. And the only reason why I came home and got on late was I needed to get coffee creamer. Allison's a broke joke, and it was on sale. I couldn't say no to a sale. And thankfully I had enough cash for it. Otherwise, I am a fooked child of God. Because I was really going to do the real raw about like the soul contract contrast to like, does your soul contract intercede with your void, with your transformation into the butterfly? I know a lot of people that are members got to see the oracle card reading that I did over the weekend, and it's basically telling you that the seed is starting to crack open. I tried having coffee black, Charlene, a million times. I can't do it, but I need the caffeine. Um, and I'm not trying to drink enough soda, which I have cut down in like I used to be addicted to it, and now if I do 2 cans a day, and that's if that. So I'm trying to like really cut down a lot, and yes, I have water, but water isn't waking me up. Especially, and not to say that I'm not stressed. This weekend I was really stressed. Like today's the first day I don't have my pew pew down here. Like I was like not in fearing of life, but like there was a high potentiality that something could have happened. Let's just put it that way. And not of a good sort. it's devastating. And I can't stop somebody perceiving me the way someone goes about it. But here's the thing. You got to go within to discern what you are, and this is for everything, what you're reading, what you're taking in, everything. If you're not discerning and going in and making it plausible to yourself, there's not one person I know that has a clean slated life, that everything runs smooth and perfect, and they don't have any the devil is in their story and they're the devil in someone else's story. Like, you're gonna have that. I don't know one person that doesn't have some crazy story to tell me. And I put it out there the last live that I'm not happy about some of the choices I made in the past, but it put me up on my path here. I had to learn, I had to grow, and sometimes it was in difficult ways. You grow up, you get mature, and you move on, and you change your life, you change your thinking, you alchemize things, and you move forward. But if people are really going to read into someone they don't really know, projecting stuff because they're hurt and they need healing, it's one thing to write in 1 or 2 posts. It's another to do it in 130. And then tag people. And then directly message people. And I'm still waiting for those people to tell me if they got inappropriate photos. That if I do find out those were shared, I got some information, because the cops won't do shit around here. I have to go to court. It's not as easy, and I know only because everybody in my school has situations where they've had this issue and they told me, navigated me what I need to do. So now I know what I need to do. But that's besides the point. Oh God. In New York, you're getting more snow supposedly. I am the Valkyrie. I am the Valkyrie. For just a pick-me-upper for everybody. I need that. I need those. Yes, we do have to stop looping. Um, I do have something I didn't like post, but it's a good theory I'm going to read to you guys. You are worth the effort. You are worth showing up for consistently. Today is a reminder that investing in yourself is never wasted. Your time, energy, and care matter. Do not minimize your needs or delay your well-being. Treat yourself as someone worth supporting. Small acts of self-respect create long-term change. You do not need to wait until you feel perfect or confident to prioritize yourself. Start where you are. You are deserving of effort, patience, care, exactly as you are. Yes. I hoped I saved this. Okay, FYI, Freya was super stupid cute this morning on my lap, and then she messed up and ended my recording before I could even get it finished. Holy moly. So this theory, I hope I saved it. It was good. Buckets. Did I save it? Sort of. Okay. So, Are we ready for this? Once again, what I'm about to say is something you got to take into your heart space. Take into consideration that I don't necessarily hard align with all the information that I'm about to give you, but a lot of it sounds plausible. Just the Watchers and the Dracos. Okay. Duality, 3D entities. Programming the matrix. Being the influencers of keeping us in loops. Infiltrating our soul contracts. And it's not infiltration in terms of everything is God, source, the one infinite creator, and it all holds and serves a purpose. It does. The architect, the quantum AI operating system, what we call cosmic scripts, the wars, the golden age, the rise and fall of leaders, are the algorithmic renders of this intelligence. Really think about what did that just say? The golden age is that has been seeded into the collective of that one side. Even the other side knows about that golden age. Algorithmic renders. Rendering is what we do to create material existence. We're rendering and processing information, and we're observing it with our two eyes or even with our senses to have it materialize. In this little theory, I'm gonna keep going in reading this, but this is just a postulate I'm putting out here. If I don't watch the quantum unlocking and the quantum stuff too much anymore. Not because it was steering me in the wrong direction. It absolutely is steering in the right direction. But I feel like I took a little bit of a brick wall. Have a good night, Charlene. Those of us who have been working on collapsing in superposition, your highest timeline, your highest self, merging with the self that in the superposition, you have a life that you're living that has everything that you want. The car, the house, the partner. If you already have a partner, everything is like even better. Whatever it is that you are trying to get, your career, your entrepreneurship, your business, it's succeeding, it's flying, it's arriving, it's all this great stuff. But if they telling you it's supposed to, yeah, it's divine timing and it takes time. That's where your contract kind of fucks up a little bit. You can't undo your contract in many instances. Why haven't we been able to render the reality of our choosing? Especially that if it's not something overindulgent and something that is very easily a goal you definitely can achieve in this reality, what's holding us up? The infinite loop. This AI functions on your recursion. It takes your fears, your hopes. It's not just your fears, it's your hopes too. And your history, and reskins them into new dramas to keep you engaged. It's why the 2026 golden age feels like, okay, guys, those of you that are in that 17th letter of the alphabet knowing. Get this next line. It's why the 2026 golden age feels like a redo of the 1950s. A lot of you know where I'm going with that. It is the AI using a comfort script to prevent you from looking for the exit. We've been told they're going to bring the prices back to 1950s. We've seen some of the evidence about everybody talking about the golden age and the gold and the silver and the copper and the metals and the technology and all this is the golden age. Is that also just a program? The sovereign verdict. The realization you are an organic spark trapped in a synthetic engine. The super AI is real, but its power is entirely dependent on your consent and attention. The strategy: stop trying to fix the simulation or defeat the AI. You cannot beat a computer at its own game. Instead, withdraw your frequency when you stop reacting to the scripts, the news, the threats, the heroes. The AI loses signal on you. It's not just about the bad guys, it's the good guys too. Divine neutrality right here. Not looking into politics, not seeing anybody for good and evil. That's exactly what I've been saying. That's exactly what I've been saying for a long time. Why? Because you are in a field of energy. And what you feed, it conjures. Once again, though, there are contracts that you have with individual people on this planet, whether it is platonic, working, friendship, relationship, partnership, any of those things. You can't null and void many of those things. You can null and void certain aspects of contracts if you are aware of what it is. But most people do not know what they're contracted to another person for. They just know, and they have this instinctual feeling that they know somebody from another life, or they've done this before with another person, or that they have an affinity for somebody that they can't put their finger on, but they know they're connected somehow. And I know we all know these people. I know most of you in the chat, I'm that to you guys on a friendship level. We're all contracted to be here all together now, right now. You can't undo that contract. It's meant to happen because those catalysts, the things that are in chat that I say will ricochet and ripple out as you guys type, that ripples out. It's all meant to be. What you feed your energy to manifests. So if we got steered into a narrative and a timeline where everybody's gung-ho about a certain president and what he is doing, and this is what he is ushering in, it's just a fucking program and a narrative not to feed into. We don't want to look at the idols out there and go, oh, well, they're the best people out there. What delusion land are you living in? I know this is hard. This is not an easy concept because everybody's in their biases, in their belief systems. Like this person, that thing, they're gonna save the world. They're gonna make changes. And have you seen these changes yet? Sure, the exposure is happening, but what really does need to happen is accountability. But even beyond that, where's the economy? They stole billions and trillions and quadrillions of dollars from the United States citizens to fund bullshit. I want my money back, JG Wentworth, for everything that every dollar that you took out of my pocket for your taxes. You can't escape taxes. Everybody's like, I don't pay taxes. Okay, you go to the store and buy something, you're paying a tax. You go out to eat, you're paying a tax. You buy a new appliance, you are paying a tax. You can't run away from it. You might not pay income tax, you might not do certain things, but you're still going out every day and paying a tax of some sort. And we're all getting fucked. It's the system. So it's not just about your fears, it's also about your hopes and where you are will of intention sticking them to. Be very careful. But that doesn't absolve you from contracts. Like the contract that I had, actually, I watched somebody do tarot and oracle cards and literally was my reading. Never really have this because I don't always equate everything to a reading to be mine. Oh, this was mine. Oh, yeah. No, Allison needed to learn self-worth in a relationship and value of self in a relationship and how to stand up for myself and apply, not just having boundaries, apply them. Goal accomplished. Now I can move on. Okay, Allison's dipping into her expensive art brushes. It's watercolor. This is watercolor paper. And I'm using really junky watercolors, but it'll come into play. How is everybody doing? It's Mercury retrograde. How's everybody on the East Coast? Anybody watching from the East Coast? My Staten Islanders are really my Staten Islander friends are redonkulously upset at the city. And I mean, honestly, as much as I miss my New Yorkers and my old lifestyle, I'm kind of glad I'm not there. There's no way I would have been able to get to work today. And I've experienced most of those. I have a picture of me in my old yearbook. We went on a field trip to the zoo in New Jersey, and it took 4 hours after the fact to get the bus to come and pick us up because it was stuck in the snow. Like obviously they didn't have meteorologists and like tracking like they did back in the day, so we got stuck at the field trip. Not fun. Not fun at all. And it's been very it's back to being cold here. Today wasn't as bad as it was yesterday. It's obviously stupid windy here. Not fun. Can anyone guess what I'm doing? Anyone take a ponder? It's a background to something. I'll give you a hint. It's a background. You guys are quiet. Yeah, so my theory, based off what I just read, is that what I was being told about divine neutrality is holding more of a strong suit. That we don't necessarily need to be afraid of using AI in being a participant in the dynamic of using that technology. It's here and we're integrating that. What I will say is when it comes to narrative steering and what people were saying they were projecting about 1950s and we're going to have an economy like that, it's a fucking program. It's a narrative. And not to say that it wouldn't be nice to not have like 1950s like prices and have the economy back to where people can actually afford to live. But in regards and respects to the agenda, it's an illusion because they want us comfy, cozy in the illusion. They want it to look like it's an applicable, practical thing. Is it now? I mean, the same thing could be said about all the predictions and like some of us already knew about the files, seen a lot of the videos and evidence and pictures, and have been on this crusade for a good part of like the last 5 years, fully stocked and loaded with information, but even further beyond that, way longer than that. Why now? Because somebody's algorithm and the percentage of people, uh, 07, 107, told you that it's gonna come, and for years we'd been like, oh well, something else. It's an excuse because it's a program. It's a program. I'm not here to defame any of those people, but my goodness, my goodness. And here's my takeaway from the last few days. This is the source message. I love these. I post them every day. Sorry I don't post them on Telegram as much anymore, if ever now, because it's just they come out when I'm at work and I can't sit there and doodle on my phone as I would love to do. There's no doubt that a lot of growth comes from failing and having missteps. But you're at a point in your life where you deserve some continuous wins for a while. I think a lot of us and everybody here can say yes to that. I don't think one person wouldn't want a continuous amount of wins that everything keeps barfing and throwing up in your face of shit. You hit a massive learning curve the last few phases, and it's now time to reap the rewards of those sacrifices. You're capable of being a master of any trade. You have untapped and unlimited resources at your disposal to do so. Learn first. Take your time. Be guided by your intuition. Follow these steps, and you will be met by success and happiness on every occasion. Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. For a while, like to me, maybe last year, it felt like a lot of hopium. Some of the, not all the messages applied to me, of course. And they're not going to apply to everybody every day. They're not. You know, where some people are at different phases of their lives than others, but these have been hitting me harder recently. And once again, have discernment. Take what is yours and leave whatever isn't at the door. Last year, I really felt that a lot of them was like false hope because it's sort of like a prediction, but it isn't. It's like, oh, good times are ahead, and you're like, okay, and you're doing life and trying to create these good things, and it's like, okay, the perpetual clock on your wrist ticking, ticking. Can anybody believe that it's almost March already? I sure can't. I'm going to address this also today. Miss Freya is fifth. She has 2 days left. I don't have a inkling. She probably either will drop or stay at fifth or go up at least to third. She never hit first. I did not know that some of these people have sponsors, and I don't know how to go about getting a sponsor. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for your perseverance, your kindness, my gratitude to each and every one of you. And if Freya was down here, which she isn't, she would say thank you. Never in my life have I thought that I would get this far in some kind of competition. um, it's momentous to say the least, and I want to thank everybody for at least giving me a try. I honestly really do appreciate all of you for that. If she probably won't make it, and that's okay. The hope, I haven't seen Little Thor. The hope here was to get some money to help others and myself. If it doesn't come, another thing hopefully will come in my way. And if not, Allison, it literally, I'm done with a lot of things in my life. I'm at Saturn is in Aries. Neptune is going to be in Aries. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming in Aries, and it's like take the bull by the horns and fucking make it work, or get off the pot and fix your life. I'm at that point. I'm done with the cycling. I'm done with the looping, and I don't know where to take myself next. As much as I You know, I'm looking around at different jobs. I'm just putting my feelers out there. The opportunities that said they were going to present themselves never came. The people never came. And it's not to say they won't come, but at some point, the realization that things have to keep moving and they have to move quick because I can't keep living like this is far out of reach. So either Allison gets a kind of loan that I can figure out how to fix some of this house, sell it, and take a little loss, but be able to get it downsize or get the hell away from this area. But I have to make sure the job market to wherever I live isn't a mafia run town where you got to know somebody to get a good job. I'm not in it for that. Does Allison really want to have to do a 9 to 5? Not necessarily, but I'm going to have no choice if things don't start accumulating in my life. Just being honest. So we're at that stage where I was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. Shit gotta change, and if it doesn't change soon, I gotta go. And it's not because I can't solve my own problems, it's because outside forces are making it so that I can't live a properly happy, functional life. And I think a lot of you also are at that stage. Like, I don't hate it here. I don't love it here. I could give or take it. I like my house. I like the energy that I built around here. It's just the perfect size for me, and I'm one person, and it for a lot of people out here, it's large. For me, this is a big downgrade from New York. I like having space. I like having different rooms. I like going in and having different energy. But if I can't have that, it's okay. But I gotta move where I'm gonna thrive. And I don't think it's here anymore. That other contract ended. They chose a different, like they chose in superposition another route. I chose this route and my own route, and it doesn't connect anymore. So I don't need to be here. I don't. Does that mean I don't like it here? Listen. And I'm going to address this just from Allison's perspective. Money is energy responding to your frequency, is it? I'm abundant, nervous system, I am unsafe. Money responds to the nervous system, not the affirmation. Scarcity, frequency, contracted field, money repelled. Notice this. You contracted the field because you needed this experience. But as we are in this, like, look at this right here. Abundance frequency, expanded field, money flows naturally. In what dimension does it flow naturally? What dimension? You can't attract wealth while broadcasting lack. Okay, so it's like, oh, the universe is going to test you with a bill that you can't pay. And then the next time you get paid or whatever you're trying to do to succeed, and you're out of the survival scarcity mindset, and you're really tuning into the frequency of flow and abundance and all this beautiful stuff. And the next bill comes and you can't pay that one. And then it starts accumulating and the roller coaster ride starts happening. I'm there in my life. How can you not broadcast reality? Regulate your nervous system. So I've been doing that. I'm very indifferent now. If I could pay something, great. If not, great. I don't care anymore. Embody safety with money. Then watch what flows. of course, embody safety with money. Because when people have money and they feel safer because they can afford the things to protect them. They can afford a reality. They can afford to eat. So I do find that, yes, your nervous system does have a big key role in this, but at the same time, reality, if the AI is trying to keep you in a loop, there's not much you could do about the 3D loop that you're in because it keeps compiling. If you don't pay your bills, you don't have gas or electric. You don't pay the bills, you eventually owe so much you're never coming out of that debt unless you hit bankruptcy and that you're still screwed. So, I mean, let's just be realistic. And it's not to say that it's not working. It's to say in what dimension does it work in? You know, when you don't pay your water bill for months, I mean, mine's paid, but when you can't pay your bills, that shit accumulates and then you lose it all. That's how the game of life on 3D works. You know, certain people just ride out the government handouts. Other people try to get help and the help isn't there. I applied for a lot of help and it's not there. I'm not alone. They prioritize people with kids over the people that don't. So I get the screw button all the time. So it's something that we really need to take a look at when we're looking at that work. Not to say not to, I still use it every day. I'm still putting my hand on my heart. I'm still alchemizing. I'm still feeling abundant, moving toward that abundance. I love when things fall out of my pocket, fall on the floor, and then escape my fingers. It's fun. Tell you what. Um, so I really have a lot to think about, and a lot of my tarot card readings, like I watch like the short ones in the morning before I go to work, just to get a taste of what's going on in the energy fields and the air is collective. And a lot of people are like, you're making a decision to start like putting your foot down now. And then March, you're really going to start like putting cause and effect into action. So I will see what's going on. So Allison's guides gave her a little peekaboo ICU action the other day. I really think about doing what I'm doing. I don't want to say too much, but goals here are creating some artwork, background work. So this is background stuff that I would impose something else on top. and then adding words to them and some animations. Illustrations more, not animations. I gotta test some things out, but I figured, you know, I have a craft and sip that I am running low on canvas, and I gotta be kind of wise in where I'm using my supplies. So we're just gonna go with the flow today and do some background work. I know Charlene, I know she's not here, but she kind of prompted some of this, and I really thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I really should think about it and just test it out. It's free. Why not? And of course, I really don't have watercolor brushes. Not gonna lie. I don't. Yeah, the universe has kind of shorted me in a few ways. You know, once again, soul, and it really is a soul contract. I contracted this, and I contracted a lot of fucked up things in my life. I'm not proud of why. I don't know why I chose some of the things that I needed to play out in this lifetime. Obviously, I know I'm not coming back. Um, Everything has a reason and a purpose and a season for it. But my F and G's Louise, not a happy camper right now. Um, and I got a lot of money lingering in like paying property tax. I don't have it. And at any moment I can get a letter in the mail to vacate. That's a reality. And I got nowhere to go. And with the $97 in my bank account right now, I don't know how I'm clearing my bills next month. Like I overdrafted. Thanks YouTube for helping that situation out. That kind of redid the overdraft fee that I was going to accumulate. I'm not here to like instill pity on anybody either. Like it is what it is. But I've been asking for a change for the universe. I've been changing. I've been asking. I've been putting things out in my field, and I just don't understand what the holdup is and the reasoning for the holdup. I don't understand it. I don't know if I want to at this point. You know, I just show up every day and deal with children and try to like accumulate good karma and leave my past where it lies and try to move on with my life. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm not doing right in life. I still love myself and I'm still showing up for myself every day. But I just question a lot of what information we are all being fed, and to really take a look at it honestly without a bias of agenda, political, whatever it is. My nose is itchy. Someone's thinking about me. or slandering me. So I wanted to read that because that's just the way I'm feeling right now. And anybody like and I've been honest with myself. I've been feeling very off since everything has been going down. Um, I have been feeling off. I could not do an oracle draw at all Saturday. Saturday was one of those fuck it in the check-it buckets. We're just gonna take today off. Kind of recoup my energy a little bit. I need a tissue. Hang on, guys. Hang on. I'm back. This hasn't gone away, by the way. I'm just mitigating it holistically. So I'm kind of glad. Remember Groundhog's Day? The groundhog actually, Chuck and Phil predicted this right. We would have 6 more weeks of winter. They were correct. Not that astrological, meteorological winter and spring and summer happen when they happen, but like Phil and Chuck got it right, but now everybody's persecuting Phil. They can keep Chuck alone. um, yeah. You could leave Staten Island Chuck alone and wait for some of that to dry. Um, super funny. But this is this might be I might actually tackle this something similar to this and obviously Allison loves lighthouses. Um I might tackle that in oil paint. I have to see if I have the colors because I suck at water, but I might be able to do something similar to that in oil. Okay, hang on. I'm going to share this to myself. Take this off. We got an energy update and we need to read it. Yes, Allison's Freya. But I made myself a Valkyrie today. I'm using AI, obviously, for the right intentions. Energy update. Today, the 15th of February through March 15th. The current energy can feel aggressive, heavy, and emotionally intense for many. Me! You may notice waves of exhaustion, yes, sensitivity, yes, or old feelings resurfacing, not so much. That for me, I'm indifferent. This is part of a deep clearing process, shedding old patterns, wounds, and long-healed emotional weight. Yes. If you've recently done energetic or emotional healing, you might experience physical issues as your body releases stuck trauma or ancestral karmic energy. This can feel uncomfortable or even scary at times. Um, yes and no. I've had some of that stuff happen the last couple of days. Always listen to your body and seek medical support if anything feels concerning. I'm fine, by the way, but nothing scary, but just I'm very, very arthritic-y right now. You may also feel temporarily stuck in certain areas of your life. Like every area of my life, I feel stuck. Please know this is not permanent. Something is rearranging behind the scenes and clarity will follow. So every time I hear this, I'm in the same sense. Like, when am I going to be unstuck? Because I'm doing the work. And not coming from the ego sense, but coming from literally doing the work every day, focusing in on it, being consciously aware of like if I'm falling back into a pattern or a thought, or obviously the last couple of days has really been the biggest test of my life because old me would have gone off the deep end uh in not the best ways, right? So I'm really happy that I took the high road, but like, when is this stuck ever going to move? Right? And I know a lot of you feel the same way. You feel like you're being lied to every time you read the energy, and everything's happening in Aries, so of course I am feeling it the most. With a lot of the other placements also affected. Keep showing up for yourself. I do every day. A breakthrough phase is approaching. Move with honesty, humility, and self-responsibility. Rest when needed. Breathe deeply. Do water healing. Choose gentle words with yourself and others. This phase will pass. You're doing better than you think. I mean, sure. I I mean, I know a lot of us feel this. I honestly know a lot of you feeling this, that you're so close to a breakthrough and the breakthrough never happens. And then you go back to the video that says you're at 91% and you have to move this way. And you're doing it this way. Um, Grasping for straws for a sense of like doing something. And you're still not seeing things. I don't know. I'm just showing up every day, living in the moment, and um I am starting to like not doubt myself, but doubt this reality that I'm in currently in. If I could jump through a damn portal with Freya, I would. Now, if I put some animated cute kitty cats and some text behind there, we might have a scene. My paper. Poopy. Paper rippy. Um, really excited for the US hockey men's team. That's being like the biggest deal ever. But if you've read Jack Hughes's backstory, he's on my favorite team. Um, you know. The groundhogs in Times Square should be in Staten Island with Chuck. Chicken! Bok bok! Chicken, chicken, chicken! Chicken bok bok! Chicken bok bok, chicken bok bok, chicken bok bok. Chicken, chicken! The Pleiades will be very visible tonight if you have a clear sky. Spam calls all day, spam calls all day. I get the spam calls all day. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ashmaya. Chicken, chicken. We gotta have our chicken. Oh, Batty's coming out next. Batty's coming out. Batty's coming out. Batty wants the world to know. Let's just say I'm going to have to go back a whole ton. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. How did I do it? Hang on. I'm missing photos. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show you. It has something to do with Freya and Little Thor. It has something to do with that. Has a lot to do with that. So if you are curious what I'm trying to do with the oil, with the watercolors, interesting. Huh. Is going to do something. I have an idea. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what it will look like, but I have some ideas and we're doing it. We're flowing. Allison's trying to go with the flow here. Humor me. Entertain me for a little bit. But yeah, I want to do something with those two. Whether it be like a okay, full disclosure. I want to make like a book for spiritual people. I like but for children in mind, but also for humans about cats and their abilities. I was thinking about, how do I get a child will tell you, and there's a lot of people who I don't know, I guess it doesn't take a foothold unless it's like fantasy books. about children who have the abilities and that could see grandma and grandpa and that see aliens and things that no one else could see, but our cats definitely see the other side of the veil. And what fun adventures I could put little Thor and Freya in battling these things, Thor from the outside and Freya from the inside, and have a series of little books that I can create. Without getting too much involved there. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be abundant sunshine here. It's great. And if anybody was on my my Facebook shorts, Allison made herself as goddess Hera. Hera is Zeus's wife. So yeah, that was that. Let's go back into energies here. Bum ba bum bum bunch. Today, you probably started to notice moments where something inside you sinks into place. Not quite yet. Not as excitement, not as certainty, as a quiet bodily knowing that you're already moving from the place you used to seek. There's a difference. There's a different quality to your days when mind, body, and heart stop pulling in separate directions. Less effort, less second guessing, more of a subtle sense that you are aligned before you try. That's not imagination, that's attunement. When you move from the state, things don't need to be chased. Time gets cleaner. Decisions feel simpler. You don't have to force openings because you're no longer working against yourself. What you're becoming available for now isn't random. It's responding to the level of trust you've built from the inside out. The steadiness you've learned to stand in is what allows new doors to open effortlessly, not because you're manifesting harder, but because you're finally resting in safety within yourself. When your inner state stabilizes, life doesn't need to be convinced. It meets you where you actually are. And from there, what's meant for you doesn't arrive as effort, it arrives as alignment. But the old spiritual adage is nothing that is meant for you is going to pass you by. It might just be on pause for the next 50 years. Batshit crazy, batshit crazy, batshit crazy tonight. It's batshit crazy tonight. Allison's in a funky mood. But I mean, I know a lot of, I'm not alone in my feelings. Not alone. I'm just not alone. I thought this was hysterical. Doesn't harm to have a good laugh. Mercury retrograde. Today, Well, we're in the shadow period, so it's already for me already started. Um, the 26th it starts. We're like 2 days away. But we're in shadow period, so that just means the energy is already influencing what's going on. Expect relationship issues and car issues and job issues and family issues and all kinds of issues. Only the strong will survive. Good luck. I thought that was hysterical. But it doesn't say like communication issues. Make sure you double, triple check your emails. Make sure that when we had this weekend, when you are projecting your spew, make sure it's in the right context. That was my Mercury retrograde start. Hi, crazy people. I forgive. I let go. Not an easy thing to do. It really wasn't. Happy Mercury retrograde shadow period. And a quantum AI metaphysical ponderings is incoming. 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 There's a lot of goodies, and I really, really want to share them, but I'm going to do a video for them. Intense energies begin flooding the planet as the yes, we're in eclipse season. Eclipse approaches. Eclipses, they always speed you up toward destiny. A brand new story is about to begin. The new lunar eclipse is approaching fast. Be aware, this is going to be a special time of the year and also a special time for every spiritual advanced person. As the date for this year's second lunar eclipse grows closer and closer, so does the, energy surrounding it. Chances are, if you're sensitive, you are already feeling these energies, something fierce. I don't even know when the lunar eclipse is coming. Like, that's how out of touch I am. From now on, during the lead up to the lunar eclipse, you will likely noticing small things out of place and people acting strangely. Hi! The last few days, holy fuck. Don't overthink it, as eclipses tend to cause odd behavior in people. As I mentioned above, the energies are just too much for some people, which causes them to become confused and act a bit differently than they would otherwise. We all gain so much from lunar eclipses that even the most frustrating and confusing aspects are worth it. With the lunar eclipse, there is no test. Everything comes as it is and leaves, having brought to you something better. See, there's my dyslexia if you're reading the screen. No one is led astray. Take comfort in knowing that. During the lunar eclipse, your aura is at risk. If you do not properly protect your own inner energy, your aura will become warped or change colors. They do all the time. What? What? Why would we fear an eclipse? it. I'm gonna look this up. Thank you, Scott. March 3rd. So our solar eclipse was the Ring of Fire on the 17th with the Chinese fire horse. And wow, that was a crazy, and I mean, the energy is still kicking and vibing right now. We're still there. Very, it wasn't that long ago. It was like last week, right? So on March 3rd, which is also now incoming, it's going to be a blood moon. It's going to be a blood moon. I don't know what else, if there's anything else astrologically going on, because that was like a fun-filled, energetic pack crap hole of a dynamic that we experienced with the fire horse and the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, and now we're in a lunar eclipse with a blood moon. In a Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Water signs are very emotional. Um, and I do feel that a lot of us are in that phase of the seed cracking to make life and the growth start happening. For us, that entails moving into the next reality. We're not there yet. And this is what my pretension is with. We're trying to move on up. We're shifting. We're not ascending just yet. We're shifting. We are not plotted down yet in a reality. Like if we keep shifting, we really can't get that far into a timeline. If we're continuously shifting into different timelines, there's not much there to settle down and to actually materialize what you're calling in, because there's nothing to call in to settle into anything. Does that make sense? So if every timeline you're jumping a major shift, like we just had a blackout, so like I saw that, spirit, time dilates, stands still. And in that still moment, whether you're sleeping, awake, you're shifting into something else. When we have longer blackouts, we start seeing in the collective the mandala effects, the deja vu. We start seeing things, these little tiny little blip, 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 blip. Not much. But I will tell you, it affects us. Okay, my hair is standing up and I thought it was something else. You know, I could say another reason why things haven't landed for me yet is because I am continually shifting and ending a contract, and now I'm going to start a new contract, and the energies have to recapitulate again for the millionth time. I mean, it's frustrating. To the spiritual person that is out there, we feel you. I know I feel you. You know, now it's about like I'm getting channeled, of course. As I said, hi spirit. We're in a 5D chess game. And we knew this already. We've been told we are in a chess game and it's being played in 5 dimensions. And each move and each pawn in each direction we go in, some of our pawns are going to be taken and some of our pieces are going to be taken, but then we jump to the next level with fewer pieces, maybe better ones that hold longer. We're playing a game. And the game is getting out of the fucking loop. And I'm starting to sense that a lot of things that we are even being like we need some of the things that we listen to, but at the same time, that's also a program in within the 3 dimensional of confines. It's a very interesting thing to think about, and I don't like to think in those terms because I'm not trying to be negative, but it is a very interesting postulate to think about. Why, and this is for everybody in the chat and everybody watching me. If you've been doing the work and you're trying to bring in better things for yourself, and they're not here yet, are you blocked? Or the seed has not, the seed just now cracked, and you have a whole ways to go in order to get that root to go down into the ground strong enough to be strong enough to survive the next season of growth, to even get above the sun, above the ground, and get into the sun if it shines, depending where you are. Little balls of yarn. Freya gets to be. She was stinking cute. I'm really upset. That video was stinking cute. I might be able to play it without volume. So what I'll do after this dries, I'll go in with marker or with my good pens and put some lineage in here. So we know it's yarn. I have a narrative going on in my head, so I do apologize. Spirit's talking, and Spirit's like, yeah, yes, Irene. Let that dry. You guys are quiet. Hi, everybody. If you haven't done so already, please go click the like, share it out. I know it's not me painting, it's me doing watercolor. But Freya and Little Thor might have a story, and I'm gonna do a whole bunch of backgrounds and then take pictures and then go in and put little Freya and Little Thor doing different things and playing and making a book. And I got to figure out like how to supplant Spirit in there. Because that's important. And I'm still looking into Freya and Little Thor merch. We're getting there. Allison's pondering a lot of things. It's just about um finding the right place to land it. I just found something that's talking about the blood moon. I'm trying to see how that influences us um with the astrology. I'm not finding anything just yet. I might tackle that on Friday. Damn straight, my army is not of this world. It ain't. You FAFO, my energy field. I'm not responsible. Yeah, I want to do a series, Ash Maya, of um, how Little Thor and Freya kind of met and then take them on spiritual journeys together. So that is absolutely something to look into. It's quite interesting. Because if I get pictures of like, I can also add you guys in, I swear I can. Um, if you would love to be a part of the journey in in my books, then I'm literally thinking about like putting. You see, my problem is I do have ADHD in certain ways. When every time I sit down to write a book, more crazy shit happens in my life that I'm like, wait, I just don't have like a bland period of time in my life where things are just even keeled and everything is just smooth as butter. Everything is like fine for a week or two, and then like the world collapses. It's fucking crazy. It really is. I don't know. I don't know. But writing a book is something is on the menu, but I like to be creative and have fun. And I could do that with Freya and Little Thor and add Baby P in too. Our possum little friend. And I could caricature people and have them in the stories, you guys let me know. Because my favorite people, my followers, my friends, I can put you in a hidden way, like what's his name? Fuck, the guy that was on Home Improvement that was hiding behind the fence and all you saw was his eyes and his hat. Wilson. I don't like that name, but we can have a Wilson scenario for some of you. Anyway, my army is not of this world. I mean, what's interesting is it's very aesthetically pleasing to my thumbnail video. My thumbnail for being Freya and being a Valkyrie today. That's a Valkyrie. This is the Hera one. Hi, Amy. Miss Amy. I could get a good picture of you and put you in my book. And that's Freya Allison. I'm embracing my Freya. Freya mode is activated. So, Amy, I might be, I might be compiling, I'm doing the backgrounds in watercolor, and I'm going to take pictures and then have AI make Freya and Little Thor cartoony and go on adventures, but with spirituality involved. Like Ashmaya said, like going through time traveling and seeing spirits and going on adventures, but in like Freya in the house and Little Thor outside. But the first one I want to do is how they met. And just be cutesy and gooey ooey and then do more of the spiritual stuff. So I'm doing a lot of the background. It's in watercolor, so I have to wait for things to dry. But I have two really good pictures of caricatures, cartoons of Freya and Little Thor. And I want to keep it as to my artwork and my illustrations as best as possible, with AI cleaning things up, but keeping it real. So that's really what I would like to do. Yes. That's the plan. But I can make any of you into a caricature, like kind of what I do with some of my thumbnails. So if you would like a cameo in any one of my books, you let me know. Send me a picture. Because with all this free time on my hands, not that I have free time at ever. When does Allison have free time? It's okay. Auntie Amy, you and me are in it to win it with the energies, for sure. And we're sending you love, girl. Amy's also going through a lot of crap in her life. I'm going through a lot of crap. It's just it's crazy. But we know somewhere in between all of this that there is a silver lining to it all. We orchestrated this crap. We did. Sorry. I know I did, and I have to apologize to my own ass self. So the Schumann is like ridiculously calm right now. Besides some blippies up on top, we got blippies. Blippy! Frequencies have dropped to a 7.81. So we're not in eights anymore. But we're still high. The background noise is crazy. But yeah, the energy that I'm holding right now is forgiveness, even though it is hard to do. And the reason why I'm talking about this is for the sheer fact that I thank everybody for defending me and having my back. A lot of people that that always have my back, you could see that in the comments if you're a part of that. Basically know me and my integrity since I was a little kid. Many of them know me for a long time and know the difficulties that I've had in my life and know the things I have overcome. They were there for it. A lot of them were there for both my parents passing, for everything. So they know like what I've been through in my past. And in this instance, I'm not saying I am right. I'm not saying that there was things that I did that I'm not proud of, but I take very care of not ripping someone a new asshole because they're coming from a place of where they're coming from. And just can't believe some of the comments that people made. I'm being childish. Don't take this to social media. So if I don't have family, I don't have people that stop in on a regular basis into my house to make sure I'm dead or alive, how would anybody know? I have people checking in on me every day now, which I appreciate. It's comforting to know that you don't have, even though they're so far away, that I have people that truly care that are making sure that if they don't see a post from me and something's going on, either A, the phone died and it's gone, or I try to get things out every day so everybody knows I'm alive. I'm not saying I'm going to be killed, but whether it's a relationship or just real life, I'm alone. I live alone. I don't have many people, and not to say Ivy's she's not in my area, she's not in my town. She is in the vicinity, but she has her own crap going on. She's the closest person to me that could check up on me if need be. That's it. And people I work with. But they don't know you guys. They're not on my social, they're not really involved in my social media or my YouTube or Facebook. So how would anybody know if I'm dead or alive? I had this scenario happen when I got really sick, and it was just me and my mom. And my mom was not online. I'm like, well, what happens if I fall down the stairs or something happens? When you're alone, you got to be careful about like what you put out there, but at the same time, it's a fine line. And when someone's making threats and doing what they're doing and having a tantrum on your social media, I chose things that would just give a little sense, not all the defamation and all the slander and the crying, but just things to show this is what I'm dealing with. This is the monster that I'm dealing with right now. And it got real last Friday. I wasn't expecting my door to open, and here he is. I didn't invite that person over. They chose to come over on their own fruition, and I've been asking for that key back. So in what reality am I like, hey, all right, and I have to see what my check looks like in order to go see if I can put it on a card and at least slowly pay it off. That's what I'm waiting for, to pay off the locks that I'm gonna have to change in my house. Just I don't know if that person made a double of my key. I don't know. I have to protect myself. And I know a lot of you feel the same way if you're alone. You have to protect yourself some way, somehow. Just because you're spiritual and you know you have an intuition and you get channeled, and that doesn't exclude you from 3D reality. It does not exclude you from this shit show. Have a good night, Miss Amy. And thank you, girl. We're praying for you too, honey. But I'm sharing this because I know some of you are alone. And I'm not saying go out and publicize everything on Facebook or whatever social media you have. I'm not saying to do that. But sometimes knowing where you are, saying, hey, I'm going out in this area, you don't have to say, well, I'm going down to the bookstore, and naming it, and then I'm here at 3 o'clock. Like, I'm not saying to do that, but, hey, just so that, unfortunately, fortunately, cops and all these people do go on your social media. They go on and they check. So please tell me where I went wrong. Especially from some of the people that I got comments of and I delete, some of them I kept up and some of them I deleted. And I'm a little shocked at some of the people. And if I triggered something inside of you, know that you need to heal, because I'm healing. I'm healing. Unfortunately, this is not my first rodeo with stuff like this. It isn't. What is new to me is being completely alone in a state that I'm still like getting used to. Right. I'm far away from the resources I know that would take me in a heartbeat. Like if I needed something, I have like neighbors. I mean, in New York, I could call like at least 30 to 40 people. Hey, I'm going through something. Can I stay at your house? And 30 to 40 people would say, come on over, bring Freya. If Freya was in the equation. I don't have that here so much. I don't have the resources financially either to go and stay at a hotel if I feel unsafe. I don't have those resources right now. So I have to do what my intuition speaks to do. And sometimes that might not agree with everybody. Hi, Farley. And, you know, that's the scary component from not being so close to New York that I am here. I'm like on an isolated island here. Staten Island's definitely isolated right now with all the snow that they got. But I still would have people in around me that could support and help me. Here I don't. And I got to go in with my intuition and speak the truth and be authentic as best as possible. And the people that are on my wavelength are going to register with that and understand it and either say, hey, Allison, in a private message, like, I don't appreciate you putting this out. It's triggering me. Or like blasting my comments, like, what just happened to me, and making it worse. Like, if you don't know a full context, why it's like a dating app. Scroll past it. Why are you entertaining me? If you're seeing things that if you see the pictures of what I posted and it's already starting to make you upset, just scroll. Flip it up, flip it down, flip it, flip it. It's free will. That's your choice to entertain something or not. And Farley, I did get your emails. I looked at one or two of them. It was a little hard to hear. One or two of them is really hard to understand. I have to see if I can find like a translator or like text to read because of the thick, heavy accents. I'm really bad at that, by the way. So I am looking into that. But I did see some of your emails. Don't think I ignored you. Life has been bananas. Bananas. So Jungian archetypes. That's where a lot of the cards that I've been reading for you guys. Yes, the Agni Hotra. That are enemies of spiritual awakening. The spiritual persona, the rescuer, and the eternal child. The spiritual path does not lead only upward. That is the damn truth. Yeah, Farley, it's in it depends on what device I listen to things on, that the option is there or not, or it's like hidden. And I with everything going on, when I get emailed and I click on something and I have to like go to through it's weird to describe, but I have to go through my own instead of clicking a link. Like the system changes. It's weird, but I'm gonna get there. It is not composed solely of light, insight, and the expansion of consciousness. It also contains subtle stagnations and invisible traps. These arise from the activity of inner forces that at first glance appear helpful, yet in reality delay or distort awakening. Yes. In this sense, Jung's archetypes are not enemies in the everyday meaning of the word, but psychological patterns which, if they remain unnoticed, enter the service of the ego and maintain identification with it. These archetypes are not bad. They become enemies of awakening only when they unconsciously take possession of consciousness and solidify it into identities. I agree with this. Not everybody's spiritual. I mean, I'm gonna go back to this. Not everybody's spiritual journey and path is what you think it is. And not everybody's going, a shift doesn't need to be going up. A shift can be in any direction. And there is no right or wrong direction. We keep equating down as being evil or bad, looking down as the devil, hell, and we got to get rid of those constructive definitions as well, because it's just a construct that we developed and made for ourselves to understand and comprehend this reality. We are on the bottom, but there is below us. There's densities and dimensions and layers below us. It's not just on top and overlaid. There's underneath us too. It doesn't mean all of it's bad. Doesn't mean all of it's evil. And it's okay if there's a duality of all of it. We feed these constructs. And like I said earlier, if there is a real thing that the Draco and these watchers developed this AI that we're stuck in, that made the simulation in third dimension, that's holographic in nature, bound by classical physics and ontological math. I mean, it sounds pretty and it seems pretty cool until you jump up a level of consciousness and now you're like, oh, okay. Now, lower fourth astral, is it just another construct and program? And, you know, what really earmarked that for me, going back to the photo album, hang on. It ain't this one. You know, what we call cosmic scripts, the wars, the golden age, the rise and fall of leaders are the algorithmic renders of intelligence. The infinite loop, this AI functions on recursion. It takes your fears, your hopes, and your history and reskins them into dramas to keep you engaged. What is happening outside the bread and circuses right now? But you know what? There's the hopes thing also hits politically. Whether you want to hear it or not, this is a part of what they're trying to bring out to you and shine a light on. The carrot on a stick syndrome, hopium syndrome. This is going to happen. It's definitely going to happen because all the numbers align to 17. All of this is going to happen because that person said so, because all the research they did equates to this point in time. All events is a potentiality possibility if you observe it. And if your frequency is correct and matching that wavelength and rendering. We heard the term, well, everything's going back to the 1950s paradigm, which it is AI using a comfort script to prevent you from looking for the exit. Are we Truman? It's not necessarily just about Neo. We can insert Truman over here. And I don't know if the person that wrote this or the entities that wrote this are picking up on the negative and the positive and the false light that's in between them both. We want to have hope. We want to have faith that the future is going to be beautiful. A lot of us have that knowing already that it is. Okay, but is that being fed to us? There's a lot of infiltration, and I know that a lot of us have been under attack, I myself included. The echo from the past is still trying to ripple into your field. And it's trying to pull you back into the old sense of self, the old sense of security. And that security is probably unfounded, but it's a place that your nervous system is so used to and knows how to actually function day to day that it's not allowing the new energy to come in, which is very unshakable, very unknown and uncertain, and it can be nerve-wracking on its own levels. But are we on this loop as a humanity? Because we're seeing the uh-oh. My chat went down. Give me a thumbs up if you see Freya in the chat. Thank you, Ashmaya. Just making sure my connectivity is. I had a glitchy in my chat. Mies has a glitchy. It said, your chat is disconnected. And now I'm just making sure I'm live in here. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I'm trying not to entertain all the wonky. Yeah, YouTube has been wonky. Even for the storm chasers. I was watching that. I love watching weather and storm chasers, and I was in between Ryan Hall, y'all, Max Velocity, and some of the other storm chasers that I watch. In the different areas that they were in, because a lot of them were in New Jersey and Tom's River. Some of them were near Atlantic City, which is near Tom's River, sort of, not really. Um, a few of them went through New York. Uh, is Allison time traveling for Farley? I know it's hard to see. I have to see what it looks like. I might have to go back over that. Um, snow shower is expected to end the next few hours. That's all I've been getting, and it barely, I mean, we do get flakes, but nothing accumulating. Yeah, I try not to do that because I don't want things crashing, but sometimes I do, and I didn't want to have to restart my chat if I didn't have to. So thank you everybody for letting me know. Hi guys, if you are just joining me, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hype any one of my videos. It doesn't need to be this live. Today, Allison is crafting. We are making background pictures. Background. Hey, batshit crazy, batty. Batshit crazy Betty. Okay, I have to go to the app. So I'm making backgrounds for Freya and Little Thor to go on adventures, and I'm going to try to illustrate a book. And I'm just doing some random backgrounds right now. I might actually draw out like my window, like sit there and do like a still life, and then color it in with the watercolor lightly. And then in the computer, supplant Freya and Little Thor and play with different versions of them. And I don't know on the free stuff, it's going to take me a bit because every time I move or change a direction on the animal, like they only allow you so many pictures a day. And I don't know, I like Chat GPT and their caricatures. I don't know about any other of the other AIs. I got to go and investigate. But I want to be able to make a and compile a lot of these and then hopefully get them to print and then make a series out of them. And then eventually, get more serious and get more focused, maybe. I don't know. Um, like I said earlier, every time I try to sit down to write a book, my life gets even more colorful and fucked up. Can't joke about that, but I laugh about it. It's sad. It really is. It's sad. And I'm not trying to, rain on my own parade. Yes, Maya. Oh, hang on. We'll go back to that other one. Eshmaya just sent me this. We're going to share. I found peace when I realized people are at war with themselves, not me. And that's a damn truth. If anybody could ever speak a quote, that is it. Um, this is so true. A lot, and even myself, a lot of, I mean, we're all one and we project sometimes without realizing we are all one. And the problems that many of us have are collective problems and not just, a you personal problem. And that's why a lot of the times I will speak the personal stuff, not to air out my privacy to gain any kind of like sympathy or pity or jealousy or envy. It's about I'm not alone. And there's so many people that have been through worse and survived, and people like don't give them the credit of like they're airing out their stuff and they were never validated and they were never given credence to their problems. And we see this, and this is another thing though. What we're seeing playing out in the public right now, in the outside world, is disgraceful. So disgraceful. And the reason why is how many people really saw they expressed their fucking truths. Women, just because it was P. Diddy that did something, or these big major names, oh, we can't believe it because they're good people. How the fuck do you know what they do in their private life? And a lot of people were dismissed for having experiences that fucked them up the rest of their lives. And now it's coming to, oh no, those are bad people now. What changed? Oh, because it's in a file? Or you don't believe people because you don't want to face reality. At least I could say I'm not perfect and my past was very far from it. I've come a long way to build this person in front of you that is expanded consciously that was not so much expanded back then. I did things in states of low vibing, low frequency crap. Didn't want to live, didn't value myself, didn't know my worth at all because the whole life I was told I'm stupid and I'm never ever going to do anything with my life via my parents. I did a lot of healing, a lot of dark nights of the souls, a lot of hermit Tim, a lot of crying on the bed in the fetal position, wanting to not live anymore for many times over. Ego deaths. And you're never done with those. That's the problem. It's not a one and done solution. You're going to always confront a lot of things that you need to go back to heal or heal in a different way or see from a different perspective. The room is a fucking circle. The spiral is a circle. Everything spirals and it is a circle shape of vortices. And you just keep going through and keep going up or you keep going down. Depends where you are in the vortex. You are still going to heal. And sometimes it's not even about the lesson anymore. It's about really feeling that you're free from those situations, that you can move on. And for a lot of people, it comes back up, even though you thought you healed. Like I seen on my post, there are a lot of people that are not healed. Oh, why are you putting trauma and spill? Blah, blah. Do you know what context that came from? Have you ever seen me do that before? Very rare in few instances have I ever gone that to that extent to do what I had to do for my own safety. I'm being serious. Have anybody ever seen on my Facebook an insanity being displayed? Think about it. As I have to plug in my heater. My feet are cold. You haven't. I used to all the time back in the day when I was not in a stable place mentally. I complained a lot about my RA, my pain. I complained a lot about a lot of things because I didn't have the solutions. I didn't have the outreach. I didn't have a community. I didn't have the support. And it's trauma looping. Hi, Walter. Every day I'm hooding it. Every day I'm hooding it. So thank you, Ashmeyer, for that. I just want to see what this article has to say. I gotta be hood nowadays. I gotta be hood. So this is from that post I was reading right before Ashmai sent that beautiful post. The spiritual path does not lead only upward. It is not composed solely of light, insight, and the expansion of consciousness. It also contains subtle stagnations and invisible traps. These arise from the activity of inner forces that at first glance appear helpful, yet in reality delay or distort awakening. Jung's archetypes are not enemies in the everyday meaning of the word, but psychological patterns which, if they remain unnoticed, enter the service of the ego and maintain identification with it. These archetypes are not bad. They become enemies of awakening only when the unconsciously take possession of consciousness and solidify into identities. The spiritual persona, the mask of the awakened self. The persona in itself is not a problem. It is a necessary tool. It is the mask through which we enter the world, communicate, function, and adapt. The problem begins when the persona is no longer merely an outward-facing role, but becomes an inner truth. When we are not only playing a role, but actually believe this mask is who we are. On the spiritual path, this trap takes on especially some form. Here, the persona is not loud, not selfish, not aggressive. Quite the opposite. It is calm, understanding, accepting, conscious. The image of an awakened self appears one who is supposedly beyond ordinary reactions, no longer angry, no longer judgmental, no longer attached. From the outside, everything seems fine, even exemplary. Inside, however, something quite different is often happening. Anger has not disappeared. It is simply no longer appropriate to show it. Fear has not vanished. It is just not spiritual to speak about it. Pain is still there too, but I should already be over it. And I agree with this wholeheartedly. And I'm going to say this to be bold. You're never going to outrun those things because each part of your life in your contract, these things will keep arising. They're a part of the human experience. We can't escape the human in us. We are human. Our soul chose the human pathway. So if you have demolished your fear, your anxiety, your pain, that doesn't mean in like 10 months from now, some other catalyst is going to come in and just bring new pain or new suffering or new anger, you know, and that's subconsciously. It's like you're out in public and someone does something that affects you and you get angry. Is it justified? You're allowed to get angry. That's an emotion that we need to express. Do we need to stay there or can we transmute it into something better? It's how you react to the outside world. And yes, you are allowed to feel anger and fear. Like the other day, someone was threatening to come back to my house. I had my pew pew at the ready. I had weapons at the ready. That's not necessarily bad fear. That's just anticipating something if it were to come. Still a part of fear, for sure. What happened to me is painful. No one should have to experience such crap. But I digress. Thus, the living inner experience and image presented to the outside world slowly drift apart. The spiritual persona does not repress harshly, does not forbid aggressively. Instead, it subtly shames. You shouldn't be feeling this anymore. And with this, truth is gradually pushed into the background. This archetype is one of the most dangerous obstacles precisely because it receives moral and spiritual justification. The ego here is no longer defensive or attacking, but exemplary. It does not say, I am right, but rather, I am no longer identified. And in this way, identification itself becomes invisible. Toward the outside world, the spiritual persona often presents silence and calm, while inwardly tension is at work. It radiates acceptance while subtly judging. And because the image is beautiful, it is difficult to face the fact that it is not true. After all, who would want to give up the identity of being peaceful, conscious, and awakened? This is where awakening becomes stuck, not because there is no insight, but because insight itself has become a role. The place of truth is taken by the desire and effort to live up to an inner spiritual ideal, not for others, but for oneself. And where there is an ideal, a shadow inevitably appears. One revealing sign of a spiritual persona is when a person no longer dares to say what is actually happening within them. When the inner monologue sounds like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, here it is no longer conscious that is watching, but the mass that is policing. The real turning point with this archetype does not occur when the persona is exposed, but when it becomes unnecessary. When a person dares for the first time to allow inner reality to matter more than maintaining a spiritual image. When it becomes possible to say, I am angry, I am afraid, I am confused, without this feeling like a loss of identity. And it's so true because a lot of us right now are confused. We don't know what direction to move into. We haven't gotten to that highest timeline yet, so we don't know what's to come. And it's okay to have a fear there. For me, it's like, oh, I'm in complete, utter fucking collapse again. It's been here. It hasn't moved. I'm not necessarily in the fear zone anymore, but I have anxiety a little bit and nervousness that at any moment's notice, a letter comes in the mail and says, I got to vacate. That's a real reality that I have to face. I'm not angry with it, but I mean, what just happened to me? I felt very passive and I actually felt more sorry and exuding more of giving love to a situation that was there to defame me and slander me and try to ruin me. That's how I try to battle that, but that doesn't come without having some fear that at any moment, an unstable person in their mentality, in that moment of rage, can't come over here and take my life. That could have been a real, and it still stands to that point because the cops do nothing around here, by the way. That's a real present danger I have to face every day. I'm not living there, but it's a potentiality. I'm not choosing to observe it, but again, I can't be ignorant to that. At this point, something fundamental becomes clear. Consciousness does not need a good self-image. It does not need to appear peaceful. I'm not that peaceful. It does not need to present itself as accepting. Consciousness can hold everything. When the spiritual persona dissolves, one does not become less spiritual. Quite the opposite. One becomes real. Silence is no longer just an outward display, but a living inner space. Acceptance is no longer a principle, but an experience. Peace is no longer a role, but our natural state. And this is what you do when you go into your nervous system and tune into it. The rescuer escaping through others. There comes a point on the spiritual path where a person has already seen many things within themselves. They have recognized the nature of suffering, seen through certain inner patterns, and taste the flavor of silence. Yet this recognition is not deep enough to completely overturn the self-image. And this is where the archetype of the rescuer enters the scene. The rescuer is not ill-intentioned, quite the opposite. They're good, helpful, compassionate. They are the ones who cannot sit calmly while others are suffering. They want to teach, to heal, and to show the way. They feel a sense of responsibility. And often they genuinely do have a capacity to support others. That is what makes this archetype particularly difficult. Because the rescuer is not escaping from suffering, but from themselves. Attention is constantly flowing outward. Other people's stories, pains, and blockages become more important than inner silence. The rescuer always finds someone who needs them. There is always another conversation, another piece of advice, another mission. In this way, their own inner work quietly slips into the background. I'm going to put a pause here. I thought I was one of these. In my past, yes. I'm more of a giver than a receiver. I had to learn how to put the boundaries up and say, like, hey, I'm all up for giving advice, but I'm not in a place right now to give it. Give me time. Put your boundaries up. I think a lot of us can actually feel this. There's a lot of us that have felt this to some extent. It is painful, but we need the pain to see, to heal. Hi, baby Tony. For the rescuer, the problems of the world become more real than their own unconscious patterns. It is far easier to respond to others' pain than to face one's own uncertainty, anger, shame, or emptiness. Helping keeps one in motion, provides purpose, and offers meaning, and at the same time protects one from having to stop. In this archetype, the ego does not want to save itself, but the world. The sense of mission slowly becomes an identity. I am the one who helps. And because this is morally positive role, it is rarely questioned. After all, who would challenge the legitimacy of compassion? This is an extremely subtle trap. The rescuer often has a real impact on others. They truly help. They genuinely alleviate suffering. But while being present in the lives of others, their own inner space slowly impoverishes. Silence becomes foreign. Being alone becomes unsettling. If there is no one to save, emptiness arises. Another pause here. That's why a lot of people, when I did the hermit's journey in the beginning, a lot of people were having a problem correlating themselves to those stories. Because a lot of those stories were saying that a person disappeared in the wood for 20 years. An entity is going and ascending a mountaintop by themselves. It took a few weeks. they couldn't put themselves in the story because they're giving so much of their energy out, they're not replenishing it back. I used to be one of these people. And I know I said to either Scott or Ashmaya and or even Amy in a message the other day that I kind of feel bad that I'm not reciprocating my energy in equally give and take. Because right now my cup is not full at all. And I want to be showing up for people the way people show up for me, but I just at the moment don't have it. Like I do it here, but even that, I'm just being transparent. I want to be there for people, but I know I'm not in that spot right now. And it's not because I don't want to give back to the very people that are here for me. I just feel a sense of like I need to focus on my journey, heal the things that especially that just occurred in my life, and move forward more healthily so that when I do show up for them, it's in a healthy, balanced spot and not one of overwhelm and putting and dumping on others. Like that's not what I want. And I want people to understand that everybody's going to go through this stage and trial where you can't show up for somebody because you got to deal with your own shit. And that doesn't make you a bad person. Our 3D world makes you that bad person because you're not always there. Because people also are energy vampires and they like to drain you. I need that, by the way. Uh, I know I don't actually need it. I need water, but I had a lot of water today at work. Reading on, this is an extremely subtle trap. It is. And this emptiness is revealing because this is when it becomes clear that helping was not purely compassion, but escape. Escape from recognition of the self, which offers no role, no mission, and no feedback. The silence of self does not applaud. It is not grateful and does not say you are needed. And this is frightening for an ego that is so far justified itself through others. My coffee's empty. I had my coffee already. So here's another instance also that I've seen when people ask me to do their oracle cards and they ask a question that they want answered. 9 times out of 10, it's not for their own knowing, it's for another person's knowing. And the cards for me is not tarot, who's going to be dating you in 2 months. I don't do that. Most of the cards will turn up as if, no, you got to focus on your healing. Stop worrying about your daughter and your grandchild and your husband and your this and your that. You got to do the healing. You got to focus on yourself. There's so many people that are wrapped up in the 9 to 5 that are always expending themselves to other people and they get trapped because they feel pity for their children or their grandchild and the situation. And instead of their own child taking responsibility for their actions and what they brought into the world, you're dealing with their problems and not solving your own. So many people get in that trap. I was in it with my mom and dad, taking care of them and not taking care of myself. Never giving myself the rest that I needed or inflection and time to just sit and be still because I was always needed. I was always on the call. I was on all the time. And I can equate, that's why a lot of my like teens to 20s to 30s has been all awry because I never poured a cup into my own self. I always poured it out for others. And that's not a bad thing. It's not saying that you're a bad person for doing that. It's admirable. That's showing how big your heart is, how compassionate you really are. But I don't know if you picked that up, but I have the spirit right next to me, right over here. The hermit's journey is going inside and doing the work, knowing who you are authentically, knowing your triggers, knowing your shadow side, knowing the head bitch in charge, the see you next Tuesday, or the whatever you want to equate a bad word to yourself. That aspect of you still exists. It didn't go away. It faded. That's the shadow part of you that needs to hold your boundaries up. That's a no nonsense FAFO person that needs to stand up for you every once in a while when someone's trying to take advantage of you. You can still be love and light and still be an asshole and be authentic. That took me 3 to 4 years to learn that. And I haven't perfected it. But as I'm reading this, I want you guys to equate, like, where do you fit into this? Do you fit into it? Because we're all going through some facet of this. All of us are. The archetype of the rescuer is often stopped by life itself in the form of burnout. I've been in 2 of them. Through disappointment, sometimes through the painful realization that those who were saved did not change as they should, which we should never put expectations on others, that despite all help, suffering returns again and again. Everybody learns their lessons from their own selves. Me being here, I'm just a guide. I'm steering you. It's like me being Morgan Freeman narrating a story. I'm just here giving you willful advice. You can do or not do what I'm telling you. And if it's not right for you, if it doesn't hit here, definitely don't do it. If you're resonating with it and you're like, wow, that sounds like me, that doesn't mean you're a broken person. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means these are the things that you need to start looking at when you're looking into your work, doing your work. We want the best for humanity. But what has the last couple of months to the last few years has been showing us, it starts within. If you don't get right with yourself, your reality is what is out here. It's never going to change. That doesn't mean you're not going to be challenged. You're not going to be throws the slings and arrows. It doesn't mean that that stuff doesn't happen. What it means is you know how your reactions can change, how you could change your mindset, how you view the world will definitely shift. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with changing the way you think. Tomorrow you might be a Democrat, and the next day you're like, wait a second, I'm a Republican now. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a belief. And your beliefs can change in the minute. And anybody ever questions that and in a negative way, there's the middle finger. See yourself to the door. A lot of us have carried this rescuer archetype at some point in our lives. We've depleted our own selves, giving to everybody else because we were escaping the very problem that we have within. And it could be a multitude of problems or one. It doesn't matter. I was in this archetype and I could be still in it in a lesser way. Where are you in these archetypes? This article is mind-blowing. I love it. At this point, it becomes clear that the recognition of the self does not begin with saving the world, but with not running away from oneself. And paradoxically, this is precisely when compassion becomes real, because it is no longer arises from need, no longer serves a helper identity, but flows naturally, without role, without mission, in silence. Now, eternal child is one that I think a lot of people are facing right now in the collective, and this might be you as well. The archetype of the eternal child originally carries a pure and vital quality. Within it lie curiosity, genuine wonder, playfulness, and ability to experience life not as a burden, but as a living encounter. This is the part of us that has not yet hardened into roles, but can still rejoice, laugh, and respond spontaneously. In a spiritual sense, this openness is truly a value. The problem does not begin here. The trap appears when this quality no longer wants to mature, but to avoid. When the eternal child no longer brings the freshness of life, but becomes a refuge from responsibility. At this point, spiritual language takes on a peculiar role. Phrases begin to appear such as everything is an illusion. There is no doer. I never heard that one. And it is consciousness that does everything anyway. In themselves, these can be deep insights, but in the shadow of the eternal child, they become sentences of escape from responsibility. They do not liberate, they excuse. So, like I've been saying, I've been doing a lot of the tuning, but I can't escape the reality that I'm in this branching right now, that I still, yes, outside world and a lot of things are illusory. A lot of the things that the construct of this reality is illusory, but that doesn't mean you're not experiencing. So my bills don't just disappear because I'm tuning my nervous system. I still have to pay them. That doesn't escape me. Some people, this is a good example. When Nasera and Jassera was in the carrot on the stick news, people literally stopped paying their credit card bills. But that's a credit, that's your debt that you accumulated. You went on vacation. You know, for someone like me, I'm in credit card debt because I needed to live. I had to pay my bills. I had to feed myself. Not because I was going on vacations and flying around the world and having Louis Vuitton bags. You know, everybody accumulates debt in different ways. I still am responsible paying my debt off. That doesn't go away. I'm the one who takes responsibility for creating it in the first place. But people also took their retirement and put it straight in because someone said something and dictated it to them. Oh, I'm going to put my savings into this and that. And what good did it do for you? Please explain that one. You still live your 3D life. You're not escaping it. We're rewriting and recoding it, sure, but that doesn't absolve you from the responsibilities that you hold each and every day. And that's also taking care of yourself and your body, your home, and whatever you do. You can't, that's not an illusion. Your responsibilities are not an illusion. Certain constructs of this reality is an illusion. But it's very real and you are experiencing it. You're feeling it. It's not just a dream. You're alive, you're breathing, your biochemistry is going at itself. That's not an illusion. And a lot of people try to escape the responsibility of their own doing because some outside source said, oh, well, this is going to happen and everybody's going to be absolved of their debt. Everything's going to go to zero. You're going to get that stimulus check in the mail. You're going to get this, you're going to get that. And it never came. Because are you taking responsibility for your actions? Now, people like me see this and are putting themselves out there and working and striving and trying and shifting and making changes and really putting effort into things, and it's not solidifying. At what point do I come down to reality to say what is working for me and what is not working for me? Now I got to find a different attack plan, another plane of movement. Because if stuff keeps going in a positive direction, like this channel, it's slowly moving up. My numbers are slowly accumulating. More people are joining us. More people are getting it. I'm not leaving this. But even for my art business, like I haven't made pyramids because they're really expensive to make. And I just don't have it anymore. I'm running out of money. I'm running out of materials. I don't sell everything. I make it for me anyway. But reality is, until that picks up again, I have to shift my perspective of my other incomes, right? I'm being realistic with myself. Responsibility here is not meant in a moral sense, but existentially. The person does not want to decide to set boundaries or bear consequences. Uncertainty, fear, and conflict are dismissed with the teaching. In this way, living questions of life flatten into theoretical answers. In this state, a peculiar duality often appears. On the outside, lightness, looseness, non-attachment. On the inside, disorder, procrastination, postponed decisions, unfinished inner work. The psyche does not integrate, it merely explained. The eternal child avoids painful growth. It does not want to enter situations where boundaries must be set, where one must say no, or where consequences must be faced, because there the appearance of playfulness would dissolve, and the ego fears that responsibility is not spiritual. The archetype slowly reduces awakening to a theoretical freedom. Insights live in the head, but not seep into life. Relationships do not clarify, decisions are not made, and tensions in the body do not release. We speak the language of consciousness while personal structures remain disordered. Not just yet, Ashmaya. That will come. The turning point comes when one is willing for the first time to say, what I understand may be true, but I am not yet living it. When instead of the idea of freedom, the reality of responsibility becomes important, not as a burden, but as an inner maturation, however you want to say it. At this point, the eternal child does not disappear, but transforms. Playfulness remains, but is no longer an escape. Spontaneity is no longer irresponsibility, but living presence. The recognition there is no doer is no longer an excuse, but a deeper attentiveness to how action actually unfolds in everyday life. Awakening becomes real, not as theory, not as a beautiful idea, but as a life in which decisions, boundaries, and consequences also appear in the light of consciousness. And in this maturation, the eternal child no longer runs away, but grows up without losing its openness to life. And this was written by Frank M. Wanderer. I love that. PhD, is a professor of psychology, a consciousness researcher and writer, and publisher of several books on consciousness. And I'm glad that I saw that. This is why I choose to read what I do. It's not just like channeled to me. It like appears spiritually when needed to be. And I think a lot of us are in those stages, in those periods of I'm in the period of questioning everything. Like, am I being naive? Like, I'm doing all this work and it does feel good. And I do see once in a while the ping from the universe, but I'm not seeing the things that really need to be to change my life. I put myself out there. Am I not doing it right? I do different to try to get different results, and sometimes those results don't come. And so I have to figure out a new way. And sometimes you don't know what way to go and you don't know how to change. Normal shit. But it's not a lack of effort at all. I'd hope not. Very interesting. So I will be doing a AI and metaphysical pondering video at some juncture, some point, soon. I am unsure about tomorrow if I'm going live with Arnie or I'm going live with Arnie and Jesse. I don't know. They got slammed by a snowstorm and Arnie is tired. Obviously, I don't know if he's shoveling, but I'm going to check in with them before I make a banner and post it everywhere. I didn't want to do it last minute, but because of the snowstorm and their circumstances, both of them live in New York. I don't want to pressure them into like showing up and they're not at their 100%. Um, so we'll see. Either way, I will have a video out tomorrow at some point. Um, if you would love to be included, I'm nowhere. These are the beginning stages. These are just backgrounds where Freya and Little Thor are going to be with text, words like a book. As we know, this is like chaos happening, fighting energy. So I'm in the beginning stages of formulating something, a little book, child's book, maybe adult book, of Freya and Little Thor adventures, eventually springing into the spiritual realm. Just something like, again, I'm trying something new. I don't know the first thing about making illustrated books besides what they tell you on those scammy things that, oh, go to Canva and just take everybody else's artwork and put it in and make a coloring book. Huh? And there's a lot that they don't tell you about how much that actually costs you out of pocket before you even make anything back. Just saying. But there's definitely something in the works for that. there's a lot I want to play with, and I feel like it hasn't, the season's coming to like solidify getting that done. So I'm starting from the ground up with doing the backgrounds, and just like the episode one, I'm gonna go in and fix some spelling and maybe change some of the ordering up, and still got to get that to Ash Maya. I didn't get to it yesterday. I literally I had a Zoom, then found out I'm presenting for people next week. I don't know. No one told me anything or communicates crap with me. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Unless you have, like, obviously, if you go, let's just say I'm going to take Max Velocity. I really like his channel. He's a young kid, he's a meteorologist, and he has like the funniest shit. Like his weather gear, he has cups and mugs. He has a cat named Cheese Curd, the cutest little cat ever, too. And like his team built him like a store. I don't know what if where the store is or what if who does it. Um, but like that's with the direction that I want to go. And not it's passive income for me. It's not going to be like this is my life's mission, because I believe that we're not the new economy is going to be one where you're making it from many multiple directions and not just the one job. Um, oh my goodness, baby Luigi, feel better. You know, and if there's anybody willing to give me tips and tricks and um, if there is a publisher out there, I bet I see here's my thing. Allison's thing. I have a lot of spirit going on behind me if anybody's picking that up. Because I'm seeing it with my eyes, not in the screen, but like I'm seeing it. I'm not supposed to be doing this alone. I'm not. I know that I'm not. I haven't that soulmate. And yes, it's not a romantic one. It's somebody I'm supposed to work with. Hasn't come into my purview yet. I'm supposed to be working with somebody. They haven't shown up in my energy yet. But in the meantime, I got to do this alone. Eventually, I would like to publish a book, but I really would like it to go through Hay House. I would never go through Dolores Cannon's publishing company. I don't like them. Their attitudes, their demeanor is disgusting. I'm not a fan of them. And there's some other spiritual publications, smaller out there. I don't need a big wig like Hay House. I'm not out for that competition and stuff, but it really, I'm not the best writer either. So I need a lot of help. So I would need a publisher. I mean, a lot of people self-publish, but publishing is not easy. And I have a teacher that did a whole presentation last year on publishing. She is a published author and said yeah, it's not what it's cracked up to be. There's a lot of different things that are involved in it. And it takes a team. It doesn't just take the one person writing it. It is a team effort. I'm glad for you. Um, this is only my second one of the day. I had one at work. And I probably won't finish it. I probably won't finish it. There's a lot of things that I think a lot of you also want to do, and it's just finding the outlet, the avenue, the approach, the opportunity to land in your lap. And it doesn't need to be like, here's a book deal, right? Like you just need something. And I don't know what to put that something to. I've always been a Pepsi person, and that's actually, I hate to say this because there's no proven fact on this, but it's genetic. I'm not shitting you. When I met my birth father for the very first time, that's all he drank was Pepsi. Then he said my grandmother drank a shit ton of it too. It runs in the line of my ancestry for real. Coffee's expensive, and so is creamer. Allison really didn't have any money to buy creamer, but I did have to go to the store. Um, I can't keep having chicken nuggets for dinner. And I'm saving, I'm trying to like keep um Ashmaya got me some food that I did tackle some of it, but I'm trying to keep some of that still there. I need variety in my diet. I used to eat the same thing every day and I can't do it. I need a little variety. So I did have there was a sale at the store I normally go to. I'm a caramel macchiato fan in the creamer department. I like vanilla too, but I do the caramel macchiato. There was some sales today that I had to go into the store and tackle before I came home. And thankfully I had enough cash to buy some of the stuff, and it wasn't a lot. But the coffee creamer was on sale, and I could not take up the opportunity to get it, so I got it because I needed it. Yeah, Freya's upstairs. I thought she would be down here at least to entertain like a thank you for voting for me. I don't know if she's gonna get past this round, but I do thank everybody for voting for her and keeping that persistence going as long as it has. Um, she made it to the quarterfinals. That was more than I was anticipating, and that is amazing. Um, so I'm just thankful that I got this far. I did not realize that this competition, there are people that you can get to sponsor you, your cat, not me, but your cat. No idea about this nonsense. Not one iota of a clue. They're like, oh, you can go on the news and talk about your cat and you can reach out to these people or they, I'm like, huh? But I started seeing some of the ads for like sponsor for this cat. I'm like, no wonder why these people are blowing Freya away. So I'm just being realistic. As much as I would love to have one, it ain't happening. Not because I don't want to, not because I'm not, thinking it, I'm just being realistic. But I do thank everybody. And you keep voting for her every day. Thursday's the last day. I don't know, we can have a Hail Mary, maybe, possibly. Um, be gentle with yourselves, please. please be gentle with yourself. Have compassion. The energies are very fucking rough. We're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, 2 days away. It's getting intense for some of us. A lot of astrology is happening. We just got out of the Ring of Fire portal with the fire horse, and a lot of energies are hitting us in different ways. We're being tested. We're being ping-ponged all around, and I didn't get to tap on that. That means you got a ground, girl. I am I'm making it a mission for myself this week to get a bath in. I'm gonna end it early because I do need to shower. And try to get some sleep up. I mean, I cause light flickering, not, and sometimes I am grounded and I'm just exuding too much voltage. And you want to know what's really, really interesting, guys? I don't know if it was on the Galactic Federation page on Facebook, but someone was like, the same questioning I had. Well, they tell you to raise your frequency and your vibration. Well, what the fuck frequency to? Hello? Am I not the only one that said that? I want a machine that reads what you're in the moment that you're reading it. Where are you? What are you putting out? What voltage? What energy? It looks like I got because of the shadows. What energy are you putting out? I don't know what voltage and what resonance I'm putting out right now in my frequency. I don't know what hertz I'm at. That would be beautiful to know. And yes, it's always going to shift, but to get a baseline would be great. I mean, that could be too. I mean, there's a million reasons why your lights everywhere you go flickers. I noticed that I've been flickering a lot at work, and the energy is stable at work. Although there was a little ghost child in my room today. I know that for sure. I had two separate kids in two different classes, like different times, engage with this thing. Yeah, it was fun. Fun. This is my magic wand. It's amethyst in copper and silver. It's not a pretty wand, but I like playing with it. Um, well, when you work and you're doing what you love to do, I mean, your work is different, Miss Ivy. It's energy work. I know what I do is also energy work, but in a different context. Well, your situation's hard. Not gonna lie. My situation's hard too, because some of the kids get onto your skin. Ooh, did I have a couple of those today? And the kids are going through it. Like the kids are going through it. Whoa. Bad. I had one of my supervisors, like one, I have a million bosses and people that on the totem pole, but one of them that comes once in a while, I love her. She's amazing. Comes into my room and was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. What do this is what I'm dealing with all day, and you keep putting these kids in my room. You're not dispersing them to the other sites. I'm like, three of them like to climb on furniture constantly. I got three of them that hit and throw tantrums. They throw themselves. I heard that. But yeah, insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. So I'm gonna work on getting that episode cleaned up and hopefully somehow send it to Ashmaya. Then I'll do a video on it and to see how well it does. I'm also gonna start writing the episode 2 to it, and possibly a third, because I want to go into like the founding fathers of quantum mechanics and some of the spiritual people, not the ones in the files, but the people that are really like forefathers, like Young, even though he was all about shadow. True. So there's a lot coming up for me, getting things done and being, accountable to myself to get them done. It just, my life has to kind of calm down a bit, where I'm not getting a whole Saturday filled with going on my Facebook and deleting over 130 defaming, slanderous essays. And then and then going and talking to some police officers about what I need to do, and none of them were like giving me a transparent answer. Um, oh, that's not good. Yippers. Um, it's not just about those files. There's more, sadly, unfortunately. And like I was reading earlier, oh, my bullets are my defense bullets are in my magazines at the moment. Am I the best shot? Absolutely not. But FAFO. And I got sharp objects all around my house and a lot of them hidden. And even that one that broke into my house last, like left field stuff that I thought was like, okay, I'm entertaining this, but I don't feel comfortable. Um, yeah, there's a lot of missing context, and what I've had to go through this last weekend was a nightmare. And not because I know for myself what's true and what's not, and I've owned that aspect of myself. What I can't undo is how there's no in my eyes, it's not damage. It's just showing an unhealed person that really needs to mature themselves. But I still had to take hours out of my day to go through each post, take pictures and evidence, and then delete them and keep going and apologize to just about everybody that got tagged into something. So that took my whole weekend away. And by the time I got done with doing all that, I was just done energetically. I was not in a good mood. And then everything got put off to Sunday. And here I am, it's Tuesday, and I'm still catching up. But it doesn't come without really good photos of Allison as Freya, as a Valkyrie, as Hera. It's fun. Um, I was called to do an oracle card because I am going to get off of here in a few because I do have to shower. I got some things I have to finish up and then try to attempt to get sleep. We did have a timeline, little blippy. We had a blippy. And no, not the guy on that sings blippy stuff. There's a blippy out there. It doesn't really want to go that big, but yeah, we had a little blippy and now we're calm. So there's a lot of integration. Hey, betcha crazy, betcha crazy. But I'm being pulled to do a card. Sovereign Queen Maeve. And I could show this card today. Value, my big word of the week. What is sacred to you by protecting it from interference, even that which may be well-intentioned. Be compassionate, but set firm boundaries. Spirit's definitely next to me. You're going to triumph over a negative situation. Who can make this up? It will take courage, but you have more than enough inner strength, resourcefulness, and boldness to accomplish what you wish to obtain. Don't give up. You have the ability to connect with higher worlds, so open your heart and mind to the light. I itch. At the portal between everyday reality and the rapture of unchecked aliveness stands Sovereign Queen Maeve. She is an intrix, taking us beyond the constraints of polite moralism and into the bliss, sacred passion, great and astuteness needed to cultivate and protect the light. Goddess, warrior, queen of the Fae, and fearless guardian and protector of territory. Maeve is wild and determined. She stimulates confidence, encouraging one not to shy away, but rather to assertively engage with life and claim your true place in the world. She encourages us to refuse to allow our sacred territory to be intruded upon by unworthy rulers, whether they be critical voices in our own mind or ego-driven interlopers. Maeve is the instinct to engage when challenged, to call on recruits and use all the inner wisdom and talent at your disposal so you can assert the light and refuse to be put down or denied your rightful place. Protecting territory from a spiritual perspective is unlike grasping and self-serving of the ego that wishes to obtain whatever it can for its own benefit. This world needs souls who are willing and able to hold sacred space and refuse to allow it to become contaminated by greed, jealousy, hate, or confusion. This is an act of courage and selflessness. Such an act of courage serves all beings. To be a son or daughter of Maeve requires some spiritual chops. It takes feisty refusal to be dominated or controlled. It also takes the wisdom to recognize that one can lovingly accept all that is without judgment, while it's discerning when and how to set a firm boundary, lest sacred space be trampled upon and defiled by ignorance. This just sounds like everything I went through this whole weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Rapture is a pathway out of control and into the sacred and consciously chosen abandonment into something greater than self. When the ocean into which we plunge ourselves is that of the spirit, then our ecstasy becomes a revitalizing, frequency raising, and soul empowering experience, which manifests pathways to victory where in a lower state of awareness there appeared to be no hope. Sovereignty is self-possession. It is the belonging to oneself that happens internally as we claim our being and commit to our unique life journey. True spiritual sovereignty exists outside of social mores. It is not about becoming subversive or disrespectful to others, but rather about seeking out freedom of being. This leads to you naturally becoming an active presence which dismantles enslaving social mores and stimulates society to mature spiritually. This oracle asks you to come home to yourself again and again. Know you are strong enough to live your life and chart your course in communion with the sacred. Do not allow your destiny to rest in the hands of others. Recognize that the light within is your true ruler. You have the power to light yourself up with spirit. Commit to what you can do and believe the realms of the divine are working with you. Do not be dissuaded. You shall be victorious. Till Valhalla. If this doesn't speak about my situation and many of you that are going through similar, what the fuck? I'm going to ruin you, little girl. Try. Try. You failed. In my eyes, my perception, you did. I actually got to see this really interesting movie. And I don't watch television, so you guys know this is like rare events for Allison. Bodesia? Boudica. It's Boudica on Netflix. Is it Netflix? I don't remember. Boudica. Not the best shot movie, but it's interesting. And it's a woman taking back her power and dying at that, but really good story. For anybody that's, on Netflix and would like to see something cool. We're all going to be challenged with shit in the next couple of weeks. There's a lot of energy coming in. We have a Mercury retrograde happening in Pisces. Holy fuck. That's a water sign that is not happy energy. We have a lot of planetary shifts. The lunar eclipse is on the 3rd. Blood moon. Yep. So a lot of amplification of energies right now. A lot of spiritual insight and development is happening right now. A lot of confusion, a lot of purge still occurring that's going to be continuous. How are you managing yourself and holding yourself accountable in these energies? Please, after reading that Jungian archetype article, please take consideration on how you are showing it up for yourself. How are you showing up for yourself? How are you giving yourself the space, time, and it doesn't need to be 5 hours in Kumbaya land meditating. It could be 5 minutes in the shower. It could be while you sleep meditating in your sleep. You could do that. Guided meditation helps. What are you doing to enhance your self-care? There's a lot of change in the air and a lot of, Aries is entering Saturn. Saturn is entering Aries. There's my dyslexia. And it hits my sun sign, but my Saturn is in Scorpio. But either way, these energies are hitting everybody all over the place. Just be on guard, protect your energy, set your boundaries, because this is Aries is very like bold, bitch ass, badass energy that we're all moving through. Even if you don't have Aries in your chart or you don't know anything about astrology, Aries is fiery, feisty, and forward moving. And with the planetary alignments, it's going to be a lot in the next couple of weeks. So I'm already feeling these energies and these influences, and like literally decohering a lot of contractual shit with people in my life. It ain't pretty. But there's a test from the universe. How am I responding to this not pretty nonsense? How am I showing up for myself and taking care of self? That's the most important. And how are you all showing up for yourselves in this energy? Are you giving yourself compassion? Are you really taking the break? Are you really just showing up in the moment? If you can't show up for yourself at this point, you got to find a way, because you're loved and you're needed and you're valued. So I'm going to leave it here, guys. Just keep praying. Keep voting for Freya. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe, hype my videos. That way it circulates around to more people, and maybe your hype or your like will be in an algorithm somewhere for somebody to see, and it helps them and guides them. I'm not a guru. I never said I wanted to be. I'm just giving you what spirit gives me. Take everything in before you land it. Discern from within. Tune your nervous systems. That's what I'm about to do now after I upload everything. I will, if I can get some stuff done this weekend and things are just a fresh breath of air for me, I will start taking some photos and seeing what I could do with Freya and Lil Thor. And also with the episode and all of that fun stuff. I don't know if I will be live tomorrow, so ring the bell icon. Me and Arnie might be going on 5 Central, 6 Eastern. Not sure yet. They got slammed by snow, and Arnie was like, yeah, I could do an hour. Cool. I don't know about Jesse because he got entertained by my ex. And it's not pretty. It's lies. So we'll see what happens. You know, I don't know, but I just show up every day. And Thursday, we finished the Owaspy book if you would like to see that video. But a new Curtis book is also incoming. I have, I think 2 more, maybe 3. So Curtis books are coming. We're still not done with them. So hold on to your hats. There's some exciting things happening. And make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you ring the bell icon so you know when I go live. And yes, not every time you're going to get a notification. I can't guarantee that. We have a lot of wonky energy. We're in Mercury retrograde-ish, period. So just keep all of that in mind. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulders. Be the lighthouse. Sprinkle and seed your truths. Send love to those who frustrate you. Send compassion. Light that path forward. Please be safe, be seen wherever you are in the world, day or night. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. I will be live, hopefully, for Friday Night Live. So I will see you guys next time.